Hi, welcome to the Guide to Fluency, where we review language programs and apps to help you on your language learning journey. Today we're answering the question, how long does it take to learn Spanish with Rosetta Stone? We'll cover everything you need to know, from how much time you should dedicate each day to how long it can take you to learn depending on your goals. We'll also discuss how Rosetta Stone's subscription model compares to other language apps, its strengths and weaknesses, and whether we think it's a good choice for learning Spanish. Also, if you find you want some more information, we have a full written article to go along with this video over on our website. All you got to do to get there is Google Guide to Fluency Rosetta Stone Review. Now let's get into the Rosetta Stone learning method and lesson format. The foundation of the Rosetta Stone program is built around two principles, immersion and imagery. Unlike other language apps, Rosetta Stone avoids using English translation, believing that continuous exposure to the language you're learning expedites the learning process. Rosetta Stone's lessons are constructed using images in order to aid learners in associating new vocabulary with visual cues, providing context for words and phrases. I'll talk about the advantages and disadvantages of this learning approach later, but those are the two big takeaways: an immersive learning experience coupled with images and pictures. Rosetta Stone's program has a pretty reasonable monthly subscription. Their 3-month plan is $45, $120 for the whole year, or their lifetime subscription is $180. That includes all 25 of their language courses. For comparison's sake, Babbel charges about the same for their 3-month and year-long plans, so they're pretty reasonably priced. These prices tend to change as new sales are going on at different times of the year, and you'll usually be able to find a promo code that can help you get their lower rates. We'll leave the description down below updated with their latest promos and offers, so be sure to check that out before making your decision. So with that out of the way, let me give you 3 timelines with 3 kinds of learners in mind. The first being travelers. Let's say you have a trip coming up in just 6 months. We don't think this is enough time to reach fluency, but with some dedication, we think you'll be able to acquire all of the survival skills you'll need for a trip. At this level, you should be able to introduce yourself, order food, get a cab or hotel, or ask for directions. Just don't expect to talk about much more than handling transactions and basic needs or describing people you know. This would put you around an A1 level on the CEFR standard, which takes about 70 to 80 hours to reach for Spanish without any background knowledge. If you're studying for an hour a day, that's only about 5 months of studying for 1 hour each day, which translates to 2 Rosetta Stone lessons a day. You can reduce this time if you already have some knowledge of the language, of course, and we want to leave a little extra time for those days you might miss. If you're hoping to get to an intermediate level of Spanish to hold more intimate conversations with family and friends, meet minimum requirements to work abroad, or just to connect better with locals by talking about things like work, school, or your hobbies, you'll likely need just over a year of studying for 1 hour a day. This puts you around a B1 on the CEFR scale, called the threshold level. At this level, you can go to new places where the language is spoken with some ease, and even be able to pick up on many conversations around you. You should even have some ability to read and write about familiar topics. As a tip to boost your lessons, we recommend finding shows and movies in Spanish and watching them with subtitles. You probably already have a subscription to Netflix or Amazon Prime, so don't skip out on using your pastime to try exposing yourself to more Spanish. You can also take this a step further with an app like LingoPie, which we recently reviewed. It uses TV shows and movies, including ones from Netflix if you have a subscription, and gives you enhanced subtitles with definitions just a click away. It also has several nice tools, like one that allows you to try speaking lines from the movie and show that you're watching, and even has a speech check tool that grades your pronunciation. We also really like this app because it's also only $6 to $12 a month, so it's pretty affordable to get more out of your favorite Spanish movies or shows. I'll have a link to our review of LingoPie down below. Finally, if you're trying to reach a high level of fluency in Spanish to hold almost any conversation, you're looking at up to 600 hours of study. That's up to 4 years of study if you only study an hour a day. This will put you around a C1 to C2 level of Spanish. But sadly, you won't get this far with Rosetta Stone alone. With only about 200 hours of material, that's just enough to get you to an A2 or B1 level. So sadly, to reach this higher level, you're going to have to eventually graduate beyond Rosetta Stone alone. However, Rosetta Stone does have one bonus that can help you reach higher than the intermediate level: live classes. These classes are a paid extra, but competitors like Babbel don't even offer live classes anymore. And we think they're a really great way to take your learning to the next level by engaging with live instructors. Now that you've got an idea of how long it'll take you to reach fluency with this app, let's talk about some of the features Rosetta Stone has going for them that stand out among the other apps out there to accomplish your Spanish goals. And first, as you can probably imagine, given what I mentioned earlier about the lesson format, I believe Rosetta Stone is an excellent option for visual learners looking for an exercise-based approach. The Rosetta Stone lessons rely heavily on pictures for almost every practice exercise, making it ideal for those who remember information best using visual cues. Alright, the second advantage of using Rosetta Stone, in my opinion, is its emphasis on immersive learning. Rosetta ends up feeling more like a classroom where your teacher would only speak to you in the language you're learning. I believe that in the long term, this approach significantly accelerates the language acquisition process since continuous exposure to words and phrases leads to rapid and more effective expansion of vocabulary. Okay, and lastly, I'd like to spotlight Rosetta Stone's true accent speech technology, which is something the company has invested significant resources in developing over the years to ensure that feedback on your pronunciation is quick, accurate, and user-friendly. So how it works is that throughout the Rosetta Stone lessons, you'll be asked to engage in drills in which you listen and repeat words and phrases, allowing the company's speech tool to assess and rate how accurate your pronunciation is. It also boosts your self-confidence in using the language in social and professional situations. We found the way these exercises were weaved right into your lesson and actually getting feedback from the program to be really well done and great for getting in some essential practice with output. Now it's time for our final thoughts. But before I get to that, I'd like to mention that here at Guide to Fluency, we're on a mission to help 1 million people learn a second language. As part of that goal, we're giving away a free language learning subscription to one lucky person. All you have to do to enter is subscribe to our channel and comment on this video. Alright, back to my final thoughts. Regardless of your goal, it's important to remember to be consistent and stick to a plan, and whatever you do, keep speaking. Even if it's uncomfortable at first, it's better to try your best to listen to and participate in conversations, refreshing what you learn, often with new digestible chunks of the language as you go. Make it a priority to use your free time to absorb some Spanish with videos and movies, and find ways to connect with others like through Rosetta Stone's live classes, and get speaking. So what level are you hoping to reach in Spanish? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more language learning content and reviews. Bye for now.